everyone, welcome back to ErikaBuilds and another Sims 4 speed build. Today we are in Windenburg on the island building on a 30 by 20 lot that had a house here. It's an uninhabited house. I think it's called like Dockside or Dock something. I can't remember the name of the house, but I have demolished it and in order to build this one. And as I'm showing you right now, here is the reference photo of the house this was based on, which I found on an architectural website. And I had been browsing around trying to find a house that would fit using the new windows that we got with the Moschino stuff pack. I really love these industrial windows with like the grids. I just think they're super cool. And I had already used them in an apartment build, but I wanted to also use them for a house. And I was looking for something that could be a family home, but also sort of have a few industrial touches. So this house caught my eye because the windows were very similar to this particular style, but it was still, kind of a typical suburban family home. And that's really what I wanted to do. I just wanted to find a way to use these windows for a regular house that wasn't necessarily like, I know a lot of people have been building, lofts and a lot of apartments and stuff. So I was just trying to find a house that would work. And this home on the architect's website was classified as an American style traditional home, which I think is kind of odd because it doesn't really look very traditional. Being from America, I see a lot of homes, obviously, all the time as I'm driving around, and I've lived in a few different states. And so you don't typically see these sort of industrial type windows being used in homes until more recently. I think a lot of modern architecture is using industrial elements in like standard suburban houses just to kind of give them a different vibe. And that's really what I wanted to do with this house too. So I didn't make this just like a straight up industrial house. It has some nods to like industrial style, but still it's very much a suburban family home. And I used a lot of modern furnishings and decor and kind of blended it with a few industrial things and also just my regular sort of family house, especially the bedrooms upstairs. I pretty much did them in just the way I always do my suburban type kids rooms. But I was really excited that I got to use these new windows. And I think in the end, after I played around with them and switched them around and tried some different sizes and stuff, I really think it turned out cute. Now the house from the reference photo was gray, and so that's why I chose this vertical gray siding because I was trying to match it to the reference as best as I could. And it had a black roof, and then it was all trimmed in white columns. I wanted to use kind of a wider, more boxy type of column, but I couldn't really find one that I liked that didn't have like those really big pedestals at the bottom. And so I ended up just using these standard kind of thin columns. I think they're from Get Together maybe, that I use, I feel like, for almost every house because they don't have any like little pedestals or anything on them where you can't like use them as well for trim work. And so I thought that these would probably be the close as I could get to the way it was in the real house. And then the porches were all fenced in with this sort of like black wrought iron railing, which I tried to imitate too. and it had like brick foundation with like brick stairs and stuff. So yeah, so I'm just going back and forth, looking at the reference picture and trying to, copy at least as best as I could, the overall sort of like elements of the home. And then once I got the outer part done, I started looking more at the inside, and actually it kind of turned out perfect for this lot with all of these windows, because you have this beautiful view of the water. And so pretty much all the bedrooms, especially the master and the porches and stuff, all have these beautiful views of the water. And so, here, I did just a little bit of a time jump. I did started on the landscaping before I went back in to start the floor planning. So anyway, with the floor planning, it's pretty traditional. The bedrooms are all upstairs, and then the living space is all downstairs, except for the master. I did put it on the first floor. So just the kids' rooms are upstairs. And with these really big windows, it was a bit challenging trying to figure out exactly where I could put different rooms and walls, and I had to kind of tweak things a little bit and move a few walls here and there before I finally got it to make more sense. And since the windows were all framed in black, I did the interior doors also in black, and the staircase and stairrails inside are also in black, so that all ties together. And the main living area down here is pretty open concept, at least through like the living room and kitchen are separated by an archway, with the entryway also separated by just a couple of columns. And then the laundry room and master and stuff are actually, closed off with a door. So the first room that I started with was the kitchen, as usual. And I used these industrial base game cabinets. I pretty much knew I was going to use these before I even started building the house, because the grids in the upper cabinets, I think, really complement nicely with the grids in the windows that we got with the new pack. So I knew I wanted to use those. And as far as the colors went, I kept everything pretty neutral or monochromatic. There are some touches of brown in this kitchen just because the sort of like butcher block countertops have a bit of a brown tone, and so I played off that when I was choosing the floor. And for the floor, I ended up going with Jungle Adventure because I wanted something that looked like it could tie in with industrial, but I didn't want to go with like an industrial floor. So this stone, well, actually, I think it's under the brick category from Jungle Adventure, I think complements the cabinets really, really nicely. And then I played around for a while trying to see if we had any curtains that I liked with the new windows. And I just really didn't like any of them because I love that tilt out feature and I didn't want to cover it up, and I feel like all the different blinds that I tried were obscuring that, where you couldn't tell that the window was tilted. So I ended up not using any curtains in the kitchen, and I just kept it really open, which I think actually makes sense with the vibe of the kitchen itself. Those lights that you first saw me using, those were from the Fitness Stuff pack, but I thought they hung down a little bit too low, and so I ended up going with these jar lights, which I actually use a lot in kitchens, especially modern kitchens, because I think the fixture looks like wrought iron, like a black wrought iron, which I think is very industrial. So I decided to go with those. And then for the kitchen clutter, it's pretty standard, except I just tried to tie it in as far as the colors. There's a lot of black and kind of a little bit more of a modern sort of vibe, where I'm kind of staying away from like the typical, parenthood and country sort of kitchens that I usually do. I did add those herbs though, because I felt like this house almost has kind of a farmhouse feel to it, but not a country farmhouse, more like a modern farmhouse. And so that kind of, and then that picture also with the llama, I don't know why, I just think that really looks kind of funny, and it matches the colors and the theme of the kitchen as well. So yeah, neutral, but I think it definitely kind of ties in nicely with the windows. And then just off of the kitchen is the laundry room, which leads to a side entrance, and there's also a half bath. And I really wanted to have a half bath somewhere near the side entrance, because the only other bathroom on the first floor is inside the master bedroom. So typically I don't like to have people having to walk through the master to use the bathroom. I like to have another bathroom as an option, especially for like guests and stuff. So I decided to stick it here in the laundry room, and everything you're seeing me use here is pretty much just the regular laundry day stuff, and I just added some clutter and things. It's kind of an L-shaped laundry room just because I had to, pretty much the only place I could put that half bath was in the front because the windows are so big in that room. But I think it worked out okay. And then for those doors on the laundry room side entrance door and also the back door, that is actually a base game door that I chose. It has those sort of like horizontal glass panes, which I thought matched nicely with the windows. And then in this half bath, it's, like I said, no tub or shower or anything. It's just the sink and the toilet. The walls are the same Jungle Adventure tile as the laundry room. And then I was playing around with like some different ideas for islands, but I couldn't decide what kind I wanted. So I come back to that later and add the island after I kind of mulled it over for a while. But anyway, out here in the main living room, I changed the flooring to wood, and I went with this gray, these gray boards that are actually from Outdoor Retreat. And I think the reason why I like these is because the house, you know, being kind of a mixture of this industrial, modern family home, I felt like I wanted the wood flooring to be a little bit more weathered, especially with it being right on the coast, and you think of like coastal type homes. I felt like the more weathered sort of plank flooring would be a nice tie-in to that, because the furniture that I picked was very modern. So when you're kind of marrying these two concepts together of like industrial, like rough cut wood flooring and like super ultra modern furniture, it's kind of a balance between the two, so it doesn't look like it's too mismatched. So I kind of did a play off of both of those. And so this living room is pretty standard. It has a TV and there's like music and video games and that kind of stuff. I tried to put in extra seating, and then I used a lot of the new decor that we got in the Moschino stuff pack. So I used that little polar bear bookends, which are so cute. And I used, I think, all of the wall decor that we got as far as the frames, the framed artwork, and the photo frames. I used all of those. So it came off very monochromatic with this black and white design. And then, is that fabric called houndstooth? I think it's called houndstooth. I'm not sure though. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what it's called. I think that kind of plays nicely with tying the walls. Oh, and the walls, by the way, are like a concrete wallpaper. And so again, I think that kind of ties the modern and the industrial sort of together. And I added a lot of plants because I wanted there to be some pops of color. Anytime I'm working with rooms that are black and white, I usually try to use plants or some sort of accent color, just so the room isn't totally, you know, washed out in just black and white only. And then there's a pretty big entryway. What did I almost say? Profile pic? Not the profile pic. The reference pic had a red front door, and so The only one I could find that really worked was this base game front door, which didn't really have the type of columns that I wanted it to be trimmed in, but I think it still works. It was pretty close. And then right at the back of the couch there is like a sofa table where I added some mail and things. So the entryway opens right up to the living room, which is a couple of columns there separating it. And all the standard stuff, there's like a little shelf with like coats and the thermostat and the mirror and umbrella rack and all that kind of stuff. Then in this little pass-through area between the living room and the kitchen, I wanted to make it like kind of a combination of a reading area and then also put a chess table here. It's kind of an awkward room because it doesn't really have any walls. You've got an arch on one side, huge windows on another side, open to the living room on the other side. So it was a little tricky there to find furniture that matched, but I ended up using that like half of a sofa piece that came in the My First Pet stuff, which I commonly use in modern builds. And then there you're seeing more of that artwork that I illuminated with some little sconces. And that's also from the new pack. So yeah, so now this first floor is kind of coming together and I'm starting to see the big picture of the mixture between the industrial and the modern. Now, if that flooring switch bothers you in that archway, you could change that to double doors. Like you could use the double doors from Get Together or the ones from what are they called? Vintage Glamour stuff. I know some people are more bothered by, flooring up against each other. In my house that I live in, my kitchen floor and living room are like just butted right up against each other and it doesn't really bother me. So yeah. Okay, so this is the formal dining room, which again, I used pretty modern furniture. That dining set is from City Living, and then the light over the dining room table and the wall art are both from the new Moschino stuff pack. I'm just working basically off of the same color scheme that I used in the living room and making sure everything jives nicely with those windows. And then I used that buffet from Seasons. And then I really wanted to use that wine glass rack from Jungle Adventure over it, but it's like a really dark brown. It doesn't come in black. So I ended up using this little coffee display case in black from Get Together instead. And even though I don't really like it as much, at least it's the same color. So the dark brown just was not working. And then I added some pictures and stuff there to complete that buffet. Okay, now I'm back in the kitchen after mulling over what I wanted to do with the bar. I ended up going with just a long 4-seat bar instead of the square. I just felt like there was more room for it than the square style. And then keeping with the industrial, I went with these metal bar stools, which are definitely very industrial in the way that they look. And then for the bar itself, I just added some decor. There's like some cookbooks there. I put an open book, so maybe, one of the parents is sitting there writing down recipes or something. And then there's some fruit and some pastries and stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely making this feel very lived in. Everything it's modern, but it's also, I feel, very kid friendly. So I wanted it to still, feel like a family home. Now for the master, I actually paused and really thought about it for a long time. And I was debating if I wanted to go more with like an industrial type of master where I did like exposed brick and like, maybe like a wooden bed from City Living or something like that. And in the end, I decided to go more with a modern bedroom just because I felt like it tied in better with the living room. I said bedroom, didn't I? Yeah. So the master bedroom would tie in better with the living room instead of with the kitchen. But, I almost changed it again after I totally finished the room and went to bed that night. The next morning, I was like, nope, I'm changing this back. I'm going to make it industrial. I'm going to go exposed brick. I'm going to get some like like black wrought iron wall sconces, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then I turned the game on and I got all ready to go. And I was like, no, you know what? I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to leave it like this. So I ended up just keeping it the same. So this bed, this is a combination of a lot of things. The bed is from Vintage Glamour stuff. The tables, bedside tables are from the base game. The dresser is from Get Famous. The mirror is from Jungle Adventure. The little bench at the foot of the bed is, I think, from like that party stuff pack. What's it called? Glamorous Party, or I can't even remember the name of that pack. It's so old. But yeah, so basically tons of different packs in this room. And I think it worked. Oh, and then another one of the chairs from the new Moschino pack. I think it worked for the modern design. But, it's one of those things where when you can't make up your mind, you just kind of have to go with your gut and just stick to it. So I kept it like this. And even now, as I'm watching this back, I'm thinking, man, maybe I really should have gone with the industrial. Oh, well, it's over now. So this is what you got. And in the corner of this bedroom, I put the office. I played around when I was doing the floor planning with making the office there in the front and putting the bathroom there, like flip-flopping it from the way it is. But I decided just put the office in the bedroom. It's fine because all the kids have computers in their bedrooms anyways, so they're not going to need to use it. So I just thought of it being strictly just for the parents only. Then I had another crisis when it came to doing this master bathroom, because again, I paused for a while and I was like, do I want to go industrial or do I want to go modern? Because I was thinking I could do like a stone brick wall with like that metal shower box from Seasons and make it very industrial with maybe like an exposed bulb. I don't know. Then I was like, no, because the master is modern. I really feel like the master bath needs to be modern. So I ended up going with this spa day. This was another one where I was like, right up until I posted this video, I was still thinking about going back and changing it to Seasons instead of spa day. And even watching it now, I'm not sure if I made the right decision. But in the end, what really won out was just trying to make the master bedroom and master bathroom make sense together. Okay, so big time skip. I skipped all the landscaping because it's so boring, and just started recording again here when I got upstairs to do the kids' rooms. So the first room that I did was the toddler room, and playing again off of all the black on this house with the windows and the doors. I love doing a toddler room in black. I think I've done this about a half a dozen times in the last year, but I love it. I just think it's so cute. And the little bedside table and dresser with the paw prints, with the black and white with the red paw prints from Cats and Dogs. It just looks really, really cute with this toddler bed and the little panda chair. So I've said before a million times that red is my favorite color, and I also really love black and white. And so, yeah, that's what inspired this toddler room. So this is a very cool toddler. They have a room that I would have liked, I think, when I was a toddler, if I liked those colors back then, which I guess I probably did. And for the curtains, I just matched those with the same Cats and Dogs paw print design that would match the bedside table and the dresser. And then that mirror over the dresser with the red sort of like speech bubble, that is from the new Moschino stuff pack, which I think looks really, really cute with that dresser because the handles are red. So yeah, I was really excited about that because it was matching. And then the next bedroom, for this room, I didn't really have a certain type of child in mind or a certain type of personality or interests. I just knew that I was going to use primary colors, and I really love this bed. I use it all the time because it has the red, and I sort of wanted, so these two bedrooms, the toddler room and this room, are attached by a Jack and Jill bathroom. So I kind of wanted those two bedrooms to kind of vibe in the same way. And so I was thinking about using the red as sort of like the overall like theme of the two rooms. I don't know what I'm talking about, but you know what I mean. It just seemed to make sense. It seemed to make sense in my brain. I don't know. And so this child has a nice computer area with bookcase and laptop, and a bed and a dresser, and yeah, just a lot of different decor in primary colors. That was mostly red and blue. That wallpaper kind of fades from like a blue down to a yellow. So I used quite a bit of yellow in the room also. The mirror over the dresser in red ties in nice with the ladybug carpet. And then I added those red and blue and yellow twinkle lights over the windows. So yeah, that's a pretty cute room, just kind of your typical type of kids room. And then for the Jack and Jill bathroom, it actually ended up being way bigger than I realized, but I had already finished the 2 bedrooms and I was happy with them. And I was like, I don't really know what to do. Should I go back and make this bathroom smaller? I think that's why this house took me so long. I was so indecisive on everything that I was doing. But in the end, I was like, no, I'm happy with these bedrooms. I'm not going to change them. This bathroom is just going to be big and it's fine, right? So it has, of course, the double entrances, and there is a bath and shower combo from Parenthood. And I made sure to put a potty seat in here for the toddler. And the tiles and sink and everything are all from Parenthood as well. And the main theme color in here is green. And so the carpet and the photos and everything kind of tie in together with green. Now, this next bedroom is a teen bedroom. And do you see all the trouble I'm having with these lights? Every time I put the light in the center of the room, the curtains turned black. And I went back and forth probably 100 times trying to figure out what I could do to keep those curtains from turning black. And in the end, the only thing I could do was to move the light closer to the door. I don't know what the problem was. It was just one of those crazy things where nothing was going to work. And so finally I was like, fine, the light is not in the center of the room and I'm just going to have to live with it. Even though it bothers me in my OCD, there was nothing else that could be done. So I started with this kind of like salmon pink bed, but then every time I looked at it with those curtains, I was like, oh, I don't know if it matches. It kind of looks like it clashes to me. I don't know. Salmon is like one of those shades of pink that's like really hard to match. And so finally I ended up giving up on that bed and just changing the bed because I was happy with using that new rug that we got. That's another one from the Moschino stuff pack. And so I ended up going with this striped pink bed because I feel like having sort of like the peachy pink and the salmony pink striped helped it blend better with the rugs and the carpet. So then I wasn't bothered as much by it. Really, in the end, though, I'm not that crazy about this bedroom. I'm just going to admit to you, because I still feel like the pinks are not exactly right. And another problem was the fact that the curtains kept getting thrown into like this funky sort of like shaded color. I don't know. It was stressful. It was fine. I was like, I'm just going to power through it. This bedroom's going to be done. And so the bedroom has a little desk area. Like I said, I was thinking of a teen, and so I did some postcards and some flowers and tried to make it look a little more grown up. I switched that rug later to gray because that's the wrong color pink again. And then she has a keyboard in here and like a microphone. I don't know why I said she. I guess I was thinking of the family that I have that lives on this lot. I actually demolished their house. They were living in like this Tudor style house that I built a long time ago, like a year ago. And so I just demolished it, but I kept the same family here. So I guess I was thinking of her. But anyway, that chest of drawers is I think that's from Movie Night Out stuff pack, I think. Then there's some trophies and other like, backpack and books and kids stuff. And there's kind of like a little closet area tucked over in the side, and she's got like a little chair and a magazine rack. So yeah, I tried to make it seem like it was more for an older child. And then the last bedroom, again, these two bedrooms have a bathroom in between. They're not Jack and Jill, but they're pretty close together. And so I was kind of tying them together with pink, but then I decided this fuchsia pink was maybe just a little bit too bright with the aqua. So I changed it to a light pink and gray, which actually I think turned out pretty cute because with the gray wooden floors and the gray stripe in the wallpaper, that wallpaper's from Parenthood. The bed that I ended up using, which I think is from City Living, in the pink and gray, I think really matched it better than that bright fuchsia and aqua did. It just wasn't the right, there you go. There I am changing it. It just wasn't the right shade of pink. I don't know. I had a lot of trouble with these pinks. They just all seem to clash. And then that little couch is from my first pet stuff. And I picked a table that was as close as I could get to the color of the cushion there on the left. That's kind of like a aqua cushion. I put a little table there for books. And then the computer desk is just a small desk because wasn't really that much room for like a full-size desk. So I just did a small one with a laptop and a backpack and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's still a pretty big room. In fact, all the rooms in this house are really big, which is funny because this lot is only a 30 by 20, but it doesn't really have much of a yard. In fact, the house doesn't have a pool. It only has a hot tub. But I figure you're on the beach and you've got the ocean surrounding you on all sides. So do you really need a pool? Your whole house is surrounded by one giant pool, right? So yeah, then the last bathroom here is just the one that these two rooms are going to share. Again, it ended up being gigantic. I don't know what was going on when I was floor planning this house. I didn't realize these bathrooms were so huge. Actually, this house was so big, it probably could have been a 6-bedroom house easily, instead of a 5-bedroom. But anyway, big bathrooms, it's fine. I just had to get over it. And so the tile and the sinks and the cabinetry and everything that's in here is Parenthood. And they've got a nice big corner tub, and then I added like towels and robes and all that kind of stuff just to complete, and a little bit of artwork. Those narrow windows over the bathtub are the same windows that were in the blue and red and yellow kids room. Those windows are from Get Famous, and I actually think they match pretty well with those Moschino windows as far as being like modern and the same color and everything. So yeah, so I decided to do that. And that's pretty much it for the build. I'm just adding some outdoor lighting and finishing up a little bit of the landscaping. So yeah, let me know what you think of this industrial, coastal, modern family house. If you like it, let me know. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe to the video if you want to see more builds from me. And you can follow me in the gallery. My origin ID is ErikaBuilds. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My username is ErikaBuilds there as well. So I hope you guys are having a great week. It's almost the weekend, yay! And I will see you again next time. I've got another apartment coming up and another episode of the Parade of Homes. So lots of good things are in the works coming up soon. And don't forget to check out my other videos when you have a chance. Thanks so much, you guys, and I will see you all again soon. Bye-bye.